Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of WHU Inside Business. It is the first episode we are filming for the Italy series, and I want to welcome Andrea Labate. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to interview you here in your restaurant in Milan, Limone. Looking at your career path, I was confronted with the challenge of summing it all up. Photographer, video director, talent manager, tech founder, entrepreneur, restaurant owner, and investor. How did you get there? And also, how would you maybe describe yourself in one sentence?
Yeah, so it's first of all, thank you for this opportunity, and I'm glad to be here. And it's hard to describe myself in a sentence because I never wanted to give a one tag to myself, and I wanted to change all the time. And the idea is we live in very dynamic times. And I wanted to represent the spirit of the time, and things are changing very fast. And I wanted to be someone who was able to change and adapt the times we're living in. And maybe the one phrase that can sum myself up a bit. I've always been, we live in a time sometimes when we see social media in which people are defined from what they have. And me, I want to be defined from what I want, so the future and where I want to get. That's maybe with the one phrase that can give an idea of myself.
I think that's a very good attitude towards life, definitely. Let's maybe go back to the beginning. After high school, you went to London for 3 years to study media and cultural studies. Before coming back to Italy for a degree in film production and directing, what were your plans at that time? What did you want to do? And why did you decide to leave Italy in the first place?
So, most of my life, and it's a pretty, it's random to say, but it's my life. I haven't decided stuff too much. It's stuff happened. So before leaving Italy, I was playing basketball full time. I had contracts, and my career was about basketball and sports. So I was struggling in school. I never was a good student, except for last year because I got an injury and I had more time for, studying. But I finished my basketball career due to a big injury on my ankle and then my knee. So, you see your future that stops in 1 second. And I got bored, frustrated, and all of that together in 1 month, and I didn't know what to do. So I spoke with my parents, and they told me you have to go into a business school. I subscribed into one of the famous business school here in Italy. I was not thinking to get in, so I was happy to get in, and I'm grateful they took me in. But after 1 week, I couldn't stand it, and I left the school. And it was the time the first low-cost companies of planes and flights were coming up. So I saw a plane ticket to London, which for me at the time seemed very far away. So I said to myself, let's go to London and see what it happens. It was early September. There was one thing in many universities in which people drop out before starting the year. So these are called clearances. So I got into a university through clearances, and I was lucky because to get into this university, you have a test. This was the only university that the test for clearances was written. And so it was easier for me because my English was not that good. So I got in, and I had 2 months to do the IELTS exam, the language exam. So I had to study English, and, I basically was running out from Italy because I was frustrated with basketball and my career, and it just happened. And yes, I went to this university while I was studying English, and while also at work to, maintain my, rent and the cost of the university. So it was not planned. It just happened. And, after that, it's been an amazing life in London, and but I didn't decide before. It just happened.
Okay, very interesting. Talking about also the media industry and of course your studies. Thanks to video making, you've been able to travel back to Milan and leave Milan multiple times. How would you describe Milan's importance in being the hub and center of media business in Italy?
Yeah, It's as before. I didn't choose Milan. It's actually like I always been very attached to family, as we Italians are most of the time. So my father was working in Rome, and when I went to London, he moved to Milan, and my brothers and my mother followed. And so while I was working in London, I found them here, full time. And, media and cultural studies, my degree, and also the university system in the UK is pretty work-based. So I had a lot of exams that were practical. And I found some jobs, some work as a photographer and video maker here in Milan. I think the first one was in the Vatican City with the Pope. So it was pretty strange because, I grew up as a metalhead, and with my first job working with the Pope was crazy. And after that, I went working with television. So I was living in London but coming back here pretty much. At that time, Milan was like the city with the expo. There was the expo was coming up. So it got to be a very international city very fast. And so I felt like the vibe I felt in London, I felt it in Italy too. So I liked the city for a while, and it was good to go back and forth. Right now, the city changed a bit. It's less, made the COVID, I think, changed many places. So I think it's less, the international vibe is more of a touristic vibe rather than international people living here. And so I would love to see that vibe back. But still, the city is amazing because being in Italy is the only city with a lot of people from foreign people coming here, yes. Either for fashion, for food, for architecture, for business, whatever. And it's not the same in Rome. So it's a good place to live in, except for the rain, which I can stand. Yeah. But no, Milan, it's a cool place to be, and I think in Europe is one of the 4 or 5 places in which I suggest either starting or start with your career.
Yes, definitely. I think it's a city that I also enjoy. But at some point you decided to make the transition to a more entrepreneurial career. And the phrase transforming ideas into business has been kind of leading for you. When was maybe the point where you decided that you wanted to do something entrepreneurial?
As always, I don't know. It was kind of my life that led me to that vibe, to that mood. My family has south of Italy, southern Italy roots. So the idea there is mostly, get the steady job and, and that's it. Work in a bank, be a lawyer, be a medic, and all of that. So I think my work as an entrepreneur started with being with a sort of repulsion from that idea of have a steady job. So I have to thank the Italian roots for that too. And yeah, I just wanted to be the boss of myself. I never had a contract, like a full-time contract in my life. And it was hard at first because I had no money. I had no idea how to do stuff. So the thing I think really helped me, I was very humble, and I still am. And that, when you're humble, people want to help you. When you're arrogant, people say, okay, if you're already there, go by yourself. So being humble helped me, and be very careful, what, people wanted, clients and customers wanted, and decided to have that extra eye on their, be extra careful to their business, because even though if you're the best, nobody gives you free money. And I think that was my start as an entrepreneur. Then, as usual, it evolved by itself. As you said, started as a photographer just to pay the bills. Then I moved into video making. Then I moved into the marketing side of things. Then clients which believed in me asked me, let's do stuff with influencer, which were, booming at the time, like 2016, 2017. So it was like a new term, the influencer thing. And you know, it wasn't not something I like created a business plan, but I met people and they trusted me, and then they wanted to, you know, work with me all the time. So after the influencer agency, which was, you know, most of like I got many friends and they became famous, so we made some money together. And after that, there was the boom of you know, the blockchain world and all the tech world, even with the metaverse part, and all of that happened very quickly. But it was fun because it was not planned; it was you know, genuine.
So yeah, I think you've made a lot of experiences with the startup landscape in Italy and also in general in Europe. Looking at Italy, especially in terms of numbers, Italy is behind in that kind of startup spirit. What maybe challenges do you see in the startup industry in Italy, and what do you maybe see changing at the moment?
Yeah, the main challenges are to have trust from the markets and support and money from VCs or the financial side of things. Here is, you know, it's pretty tough as an entrepreneur to start your business because even like opening up a company is very expensive. So the minimum you spend is like thousands of euros. So the first thing that comes in your mind, why spending that much money on like the bureaucracy and not into your business? So that's something that I hope it will change. And also it's a very long process. And, you know, after you did your third, fourth company, it becomes faster and you have like the idea and how to do it fast. But still the first time is scary and all the people around you say, why pay 50% taxes, go somewhere else, especially if you work in tech. And so like myself, I was tempted to move where all the tech world is, like US or maybe also right now Dubai or Asia and Singapore. Because, you know, you have more people, more like-minded people, less taxes, more economical support from funds. But still, having said all of these negative things, all my companies are here in Italy because I think it's more challenging and more, I think it's more my style. I don't want to be recognized as, I don't want to move somewhere for not paying taxes. I want to do the things that are, you know, that are good to me. And then, of course, if the business struggles, I will find another way. But if you're very careful with money and how you handle your investments, here is a good place to be. The one thing why Italy, I think, is suffering from the startup world is people have very, like, older generation have very little trust on newer generation. This happens everywhere. But I think if you think of like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, all the Elon Musk, and you know, those are like the real treasures of a nation because you know, those people create wealth for generations. And here, like, if you walk into a fund manager, they look at you like they're the bosses and they have the money. You're not no one. I mean, they have to think the older generation has to think we have the future in our hands. We are the treasure of this country, not the opposite way. You know, money is not a thing. Money is like an idea, or you can put money somewhere. But myself, I always created money because you have your mind and you do stuff. And if people like it, they buy it or they use it. So I don't think money gives you power, but your brain and your mind gives you that power of creating a better future. So this has to change, and people really have to understand that we have you know, we are the kings of this country's future, like with the younger generation. And another thing I don't like, which is I say this to myself as well, people don't like younger people don't trust each other, don't support each other. We have, you know, we used to work alone here because since there's not much money, the idea of I made this little success, I want to keep it for myself. And this is something I hate. I would love to, when I was working in the US or even in countries like Africa or Philippines, if you had a success I would achieve for you, I would be happy for you, and I will support you. I will share like your success on my social media, and saying I was there and I wish you all the best, all of that. This doesn't happen here. You get a lot of people who are jealous, and they, it's not all the people is like this, but I think this has to change a little bit between the young people. And it's also after COVID, it's very difficult to network with people. The possibilities you have to network are okay. There are some are there, but either you have to pay to be there or you have to be selected. So it's not like, for me, it hasn't been really worth it to go there. So I try to connect more with people on the internet and then meet in real life. We really need to adapt to a big European, and also the collaboration between states. Like, I have more people from Germany writing me rather than people from Italy, even though my business is in Italy. Just because, I'm talking with a person from Latvia, and he said congratulations, and it was just genuine. He wasn't selling me anything. Here in Italy, if they say congratulations, most of the time they want to sell me something, and I think this has to change, and I think it will change when the market grows.
Because you briefly touched on VC investors and also people from other countries such as Germany contacting you about your business. Do you maybe see international investors having an impact? Because of course there's the cultural and the bureaucratic problems in Italy, but do you see a positive development maybe on the side of international investors?
Well, I think Italy is like the cradle of creativity for so long. I mean, the Italy is, I think the main problem with Italy is it's always been too beautiful. So people don't want to do stuff because it's like a country in which, like, everywhere you go, you want to enjoy the place. If you go Sicily, Lake Como, I don't know, anywhere.
Coming from Germany, where we have a very startup-friendly environment, but even there we see companies in the blockchain environment moving away to countries that have easier regulations. How do you maybe see the environment or the situation around blockchain in Italy right now? What are your experiences with that?
I think there's no environment right now, like in terms of bureaucracy and laws. There are a lot of entrepreneurs who want to be into blockchain. So it's very innovative in terms of Italian entrepreneurs who are trying and mostly struggling, because it's, for Italian people, like average Italian people, blockchain is mostly crypto, is like illegal things connected to drugs and dark stuff on the internet. But there's a lot of, amazing entrepreneurs who are trying to change stuff. And, I know of companies in Italy who have their, companies capital in Ethereum and stuff like that. But it's very difficult to find a bank or even the notary who can recognize the crypto-friendly activity. So that's why most people will move to other countries more blockchain-friendly.
Yeah, very interesting. I think about the environment in Italy right now. What have maybe been your experiences with blockchain? So what have you concretely done in that area?
So right now me and my partner have a company which is called PCA Group. Which also holds a sub brand which is more aggressive and more into blockchain, which is called Blockchain Army. What we do with blockchain is mostly advice for companies Web2 companies who want to move into Web3, or having like their project helped with the tech side or marketing side. For Italian companies, it's mostly the Web2 who want to move into Web3. But for our main clients are foreign companies, and we do all the tech for them, all the marketing. And it's amazing because for blockchain companies, you have a very different approach in terms of, the work relationship is all through Telegram or Discord. So all of them, they pay you up front. So it's no contracts. Like the biggest work I did on blockchain was, work that in Italy you would have like 30, 40 page contract. And this was done through a Telegram message, because the blockchain is based on trust. So that's the value I love about blockchain. And, it's something, I think we have to understand that to stop blockchain, you need to stop the internet. So I don't think this will happen anytime soon. And I think if you ask people, nobody wants to stop the internet. So blockchain is here to stay, and I'm trying to be, like someone in that space too.
Yeah, very interesting take. Talking about your current projects and what you're currently working on, what was maybe your most challenging project so far?
Definitely, it was Elon, my last company, which I'm not working at the moment, because Elon was the main idea, really like the stories you hear about the garage and your friends and you create a startup and it just blows up. The idea was to create a stock exchange in which you can invest on celebrities' futures or people who will be celebrities. So really we're in a time you can invest in everything, like fractional shares of a real estate development project, or fractional shares of on a watch or on a yacht or everything. But the field of art and media and entertainment has not been something you can invest in very easily. So the idea was to invest on, like if you could invest on Michael Jackson when in the 70s, in the 80s and 90s, you would make a lot of money. So that was the main idea. It became really challenging for me because in 1 year we got a big investment, and we moved from like 5 people to 25 people, and managing all the people you have to pay and managing all the problems that a big company could have growing up that fast. And also was a company who went into the process of going public in Italy and then in the US. And that was when I felt like I was not needed anymore, because I'm sort of a rebel in a sense, and I don't want to be the one who goes there and just signs paper and fires people. And so that was when I felt the work as a CEO of the company was more managing the financial part or the bureaucratic part. I felt like somebody else would be better than me. And that's where I left, and I moved into the blockchain environment and other businesses I'm doing right now. Yeah.
It sounds like you had to make some experience with external management. What was maybe your attitude toward that at first, and what experiences did you make?
It's very funny because I was 28 at the time, or 27, and you have to hire or fire people who were like 20 or 25 years older than you. So maybe the senior partner at KPMG. I mean, what experience do you have to judge somebody with a 30-year experience? But still, I think the age is not something very important in the in the startup world, because all the big CEOs of big companies were very young when they started, so you have to get used to that. And the process was quite easy to hire people from external managers. At first, you think you can do it by yourself. But that's one big advice I would give, is to really rely on the external management, because there are so many things you take for granted which are not. So I had to hire a CFO, CLO, and all the partners, and who could help with the work, and that's something that really helped me with the business.
Yeah. I think a topic that's hot on everyone's minds right now, especially in the business world, is AI. We have ChatGPT, and we've also recently seen OpenAI announcing a text-to-video model called Sora. How do you see these very impressive and fast changes in the AI industry? And how do you see them affecting the media business especially?
I think the technologies were there for a lot of people in the media business, but it was not as powerful as they are now. So, all the AI stuff was something they wanted to use in the past, but it was more difficult than using the normal technology they had. So, the idea of AI for some people is scary. Like I can lose my job to AI. I don't think that's the case. Or better, yes, you can lose your job, but you need to adapt. You need to change. And the thing that media people need to focus on is the fact checking, and it's very difficult to discern what's real and what's not real. So that's something could be scary to, especially for media companies, not knowing what is real, what news is real, what not. That needs really addressing. That's a problem that needs addressing. But at the end of the day, I think AI it's another technology which is here to stay and just will help all the media, and even the broadcasting of information will be faster and better in the future.
Yeah, we've heard a lot about your innovative approaches in business and the fields that you've been working in. But recently, you also invested in more classical and retail businesses, such as the restaurant Limone, which we are sitting in right now, and also your project called The Gym. Could you maybe elaborate on that and what were your kind of motives or motivators investing in them?
I think the classic businesses, the retail businesses, are the one you can innovate the most. Because, it's like a restaurant has been a restaurant, like for the restaurant business has been the same for like 100 years. Of course, things change with the delivery and stuff like that. But I like the idea of changing a bit on, the classic businesses. That's why I got into those businesses. You cannot do too much at the same time. Like you need to do little changes. Like for the case of this restaurant, like this room is at night, it becomes like a karaoke room. We do a lot of work with online, like social media or delivery platforms. We built a dark kitchen, which is basically, a ghost kitchen, I would say. So we have another brand working in the restaurant, which is the delivery brand of black pizzas, which are made like the dough is made of organic coal, so it's easier to digest. So you have the restaurant, but at the same time we deliver these black pizzas. So for the restaurant, we trying to make all these little changes. As for the gym, I had this dream of a very black space, gigantic space in which people would have a party. And then I always invest in stuff I use every day. So I eat a lot. So the restaurant and the gym, I train a lot. So the gym. But the idea of having like a very black and very like aesthetic place is something I always saw as something that was missing. Like the gym is something you want to be aesthetic, not like all bright and everything. And so even there, the innovation is brought by little things. Like if you are subscribed to the gym, you can have like free entrance to the parties we do. And we did the first party inside the gym. I think we're one of the first gyms in the world who do that. And little things, the communication, and it's a dog-friendly gym. Yeah. All of that is innovative for us businesses, classic businesses.
I think that's an amazing approach to classic businesses. And talking about your current projects, maybe you want to give us an outlook on what your future projects are, and what you're kind of looking at the moment, and what kind of goals you're trying to achieve.
As I was saying, the main company right now is BCA Group and Blockchain Army. So all the blockchain. So my daily work is like half the day based on those companies. Some hours helping manage the gym and the restaurant. And most of my time right now is focusing on the new business, which is called Adiware, which is a company which will try to disrupt the advertising industry. The idea is most businesses changed in the current times. Like if you think of music with Spotify or movies with Netflix or housing and with Airbnb and many others, there's one field who really needs to change, and it's advertising, which has been the same for like 200 years. And I do this project, which I cannot say much now, but I will try to change that side of things too.
Yeah, very interesting. And I, of course, wish you all of the best of success with that project. I think we're all excited to see how that's going to play out. As always, as our speaker, we would like to ask you for a book recommendation. So what's maybe a book that you've read and that you would recommend to our viewers as well that you think is interesting?
My favorite book ever is Full of Life by John Fante, an Italian-American writer. But also there are two other books, actually. I would suggest for anyone that gets into business. One is unlikely. I mean, it's not connected to business, but I think it's very useful. And it's Beyond Good and Evil by Friedrich Nietzsche. And the other one is more connected to business, is How to Be Rich by Paul Getty, which is very interesting book.
All right. Thank you very much for those recommendations. And thank you, of course, also for giving us this opportunity of talking to you. It's been great getting those insights and hearing about all of your experiences and projects. And also, of course, we'd like to thank the viewers of WHU Inside Business. Thank you for joining us on the first episode of the Italy series, and we hope to see you on the next one.